What is going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday, or whenever, actually, it would probably be Wednesday because the tournament starts very early. We've got another week. We get to actually talk about a major, and this should be a fun one, Sheets. A lot of huge tournaments out there, a lot of excitement in the industry. It's always fun to have a fun golf weekend. I'm excited to hear your thoughts. Any overall takes on the slate and what we're doing? I know it's a long course, and there's also some wind that we're going to be expecting. What are sort of your initial thoughts on how to approach this?
Yeah. So first of all, one thing I've learned in just the year I've been doing the DFS golf is that for the majors, I mean, this is probably smart. I mean, they really make the pricing pretty soft in general, so that anybody can come and play, and you can play whoever you really can play, almost whoever you want. I mean, there's some really good golfers that like are in the 7K range, and part of it is because it's a tough field, but it's so what ends up happening is that I do think that in some sense the ownership can be spread out a little bit. So you don't have to worry too much about it, but there's some guys that are just like, I don't know how people aren't going to play these guys. So we'll talk about that. Remember, it is golf, so anything's possible. And we'll get into that a little bit. But for me, I'm probably going to end up, playing like a middling type build, just because of the way the pricing works. Because I mean, there are all these, like, really, to me, there's like a lot of good guys in the 7K range, but like once you're below 7K, it becomes kind of yeeks. So for me, I just kind of probably want to play the 9, 8, 7s and stuff like that. But we'll get into it, I guess.
Okay, well, let's get into it. Let's talk about this top range, because I definitely can see an argument for doing exactly what you just said, playing the next tier guys. As of right now, I think that, honestly, I think Dustin Johnson is the person I'm the most interested in over 10K. And unfortunately, the chalky Jordan Spieth, I think I have a mild interest in. Not mild interest, I have interest in. I just don't love that he's going to be really popular. But I think DJ is going to be low owned, and I'm always a sucker for DJ. Just look, it's a big event, it's a long course. The guy is, in my opinion, still, like, when he's right, the best golfer in the world. When he's right, and he's mostly right. So I'm leaning towards those guys. I'm open to the Bryce thing, but I'm a little concerned with the way he's playing. I mean, like, his approaches have been terrible over the last while now, and you're gonna kind of need that a little bit in this tournament. So mostly I'm leaning DJ, Spieth, and I always am a sucker for Rahm, but he hasn't been quite the same. And I'm using my little narrative thing since he had the baby. So what are your thoughts in this range?
Yeah, I like Rahm and DeChambeau the best. And neither of them I'm going to jam in. I'm not going to have that much of either of them, honestly, but I could certainly make a case for both those guys over the others. And again, I have nothing against any of these guys, like Dustin Johnson or Justin Thomas or Rory or whatever. I just like the other ranges just a little bit better today. I do like that DeChambeau might be only 10, 12% owned. And he could knock the crap out of the ball. So that's kind of where I am. And just so you guys know, I do have 3 outright bets this week.
Oh.
So we'll get into those, and neither of them have any chance to win. But we'll talk about that when we get there.
All right, 9K range. I don't know what happened. Like, I think people are just wrong when it comes to, I don't know. I don't understand why Hideki Matsuyama will be completely unowned here. Can you explain that to me? Or do you have any explanation for it? Why the guys around him are going to be literally like 9 times as owned as he's going to be, from what I'm looking at, between Hovland and Schauffele, who, by the way, great plays. I like both those guys. I'm not going to play Hovland at this ownership. I'm still having a hard time with the idea of fading Schauffele, but even still, I love Matsuyama here at no ownership. And I've had some people talk to me about Webb this week, who some of my golf friends. So those are the guys who I sort of had zeroed in on, along with Patrick Reed. How about you in this range? And does that make any sense? Does it make, is there like a huge reason why Matsuyama should be like completely unowned here? Other than who's around?
I mean, look, I guess most people's models just have him projecting not to be relative warranted of his price, I guess, because that's what I'm seeing also. So that, I mean, I'm not saying that it's right, but that's to answer your question. I mean, that's the reason why he's not going to be that owned. He's just not. That's the best I can try. He's not projecting all that great. But I mean, it's golf, man. You get a guy that won the Masters at 5% ownership. I mean, I'm not gonna talk you off of it.
And by the way, when he won the Masters, he was like 5% owned too.
Yeah. The top plays are the guys you mentioned who are going to be owned. You know what I mean? Like Schauffele is going to be owned 20% probably plus. What's his name? The other guy, Hovland, is going to be really, really super popular. You play him, but you know he's going to be really popular. And the guy who's really interesting to me is, like you mentioned, is Webb. You know, you would think that this is not the type of course that he would win on, right? Because he doesn't hit that far. But the guy's good, man, and he's 10% owned, and he's only 9,200. I'm in there. He's probably, given ownership and everything else, probably my top option in the 9K range.
Also, one other thing that adds to Webb is that he does play reasonably well in weather, in bad weather spots, and there's a chance that the weather could be kind of nasty a little bit at the beginning of this tournament. So that might benefit him as well.
Yeah, and the other guy, I mean, this is brutal. This is an outright bet I have.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't even imagine him winning. But I'm playing him in DFS. He's 5% owned, and I choked with him last time. Was Patrick Cantlett. So I got him at like I think like 45 to 1 or something like that. And then I like him at this price, at this ownership. So I'm in there for that. And Patrick Reed, I'll always play Patrick Reed.
Yeah, the only thing is
you got to pause for a second. You got to pause. I'll be back in a few minutes. Right. So I was mentioning that that I liked a little bit of Patrick Reed too, along with Cantlett. And you were saying, yeah, the one problem with that, and then I had to go.
So I watched Rick's free video. I'm not giving everything away, but he's just convinced that Cantlett is like unplayable.
No.
I tend to default to guys who know a lot more than I do. Yeah. And I do understand though, just the game theory side of it at zero ownership, maybe less than 5%, maybe he's like, and he's 9K. I mean, and this is a guy who was Mr. Consistency. The recent form has been really atrocious. But yeah, he's the only one I didn't get on board with of all the guys you talked about.
Who would your favorite be, you think?
I think of the 9K range. I mean, well, I like the obvious, I do like Schauffele, but I think that I'm going to end up prioritizing Matsuyama just in terms of ownership. And I think that he's just really good. I really don't understand exactly, like I get it why Brooks, I know one's going to play Brooks. And yeah, sure, you could throw in Brooks in the lineup, but Matsuyama is far closer to these guys. And unless there's something I'm completely missing here, and I haven't found out what that is yet, he's just.
If that's the case, you just got to play him.
That's the Sam Burns thing from last week with Scheffler and Zalatoris right around him. All the ownership went there, and nobody played Sam Burns. And not that he didn't win, but he would have been helpful to a winning lineup because he finished second. Anyway.
By the way, if you'd like to mention that I did have I set at 3 outright bets. I do have the outright bet on Webb Simpson. I'm getting 48 to 1 on Webb Simpson. So.
Okay, that's a great bet. That's a great outright bet.
I mean, course fit, schmorse fit. I'm at 48 to 1. You know what I mean? Like, I'm fine by me. And I did get 43.7 to 1 on Cantlett, and I got one other coming up.
Yeah, I gotcha. All right, let's jump down into the next range because I think it's kind of interesting. Why don't you start this one off? And I'm curious to see where you go here.
So my best play on the board, ownership notwithstanding, is Berger. Right. He's going to be very popular and probably for good reason. Oh, whatever, it's golf. I mean, whatever. But he's my best kind of like play on the board. My second best play on the board in the 8K range is actually Tyrrell Hatton at 8K. And he's going to be less than 15%, maybe as little as 10% owned, so I like him. Finau I like a little bit as well, and then the other guy I have, I'm doing it, man. I'm playing Will the Thrill at 55 to 1 outright to win the to take down all the cheese.
I absolutely love it.
So those are my 3 outrights, and I like him a decent amount in DFS also. So those are my Berger's my chalk play. And I guess Hatton is not that, maybe chalky, maybe not. Finau, maybe won't be that chalky, and maybe Zalatoris again. He's going to be more chalky than you think he is, as usual. But I don't know. People haven't played him in a couple of weeks. Maybe they forgot about him. I don't know. We'll see. So those are my favorite 8 sub 9K guys.
Yeah, I like this range a ton. Like, you could tell me this range. I mean, that's the thing. You're going to get a lot of all the great golfers, but I really think this is where this is the range I'll have a lot of interest in. You mentioned Finau, who projects really, really well and is not going to be that high owned, which doesn't seem right. And I bet you he's higher owned, especially in the higher buy-ins. You have Daniel Berger, who I love. I agree that he's a really good play. I love Zalatoris. I hope that he is nearly owned what they say he is. You didn't mention Cam Smith. I mean, I know I can't play all these guys, but I really do like this range. Fitzpatrick, I don't want to play any M. I do want some Fleetwood at no ownership. Mm-hmm. And then you've got then I can get behind the Hatton thing. What are your thoughts on Louis Oosthuizen? Because I feel like he's chronically mispriced because of the way he plays outside of major events. And he's
literally the next person I was going to say.
Okay. Because I do have a lot of interest in him. Yeah, and this whole range I just think is loaded. And
Scheffler, nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah, Scotty Scheffler. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm very interested in this whole range, and especially if the weather gets a little bit funny. I'm going to take another look later today, but I'll look even higher on Fleetwood, and then there's Webb Simpson Light, who probably comes and wins this tournament after being like a 0.0% owned. No, he didn't win it. I think he came in second or third in that one, but everybody thought Justin Rose was just not able to hit a golf ball anymore. But
right.
Him at 8.1 is a little bit okay. I was a little bit thinking about it, but I don't think I'm going to end up going there.
So obviously the sub 8K range is totally the nuts. I mean, this is like some incredible plays here. And it's the question of who's going to be 100% owned and where are the pivots. But I like 10 guys here, and you can make a case for all of them. First of all, okay, I don't know who's going to be more chalky, but between Abraham Answer and Corey Connors, like I think between the two of them have to equal 50% ownership. I mean, like at those prices, these guys are always around, and I think that they're going to be super popular. I mean, they're both really, really good plays, but yeah. Then maybe a little less owned. My next best play in that range is going to be Brian Harmon at 7,400, and then Keegan Bradley's been in much better form. I like him. Then what I think should be really popular, but I don't know, maybe Joaquin Niemann. I got 3 more for you. Sam the discount man came 7,500, right back to that. That's Sam Burns, by the way.
Yep.
And then I'll give you 2 more, all the way down to 7K, Emmanuel Grillo, and then 7,100, Cam Tringale.
So I cannot believe the words Harris English didn't come out of your mouth somewhere in that.
He was you know what? He's literally the next guy. And I'm like, you know what? I am just so happy to not have to say Harris English. So.
Yeah, there's plenty of ways to get creative, I guess, this week. So I think Sam Burns is my favorite in this range. And I'm willing to deal with the fluctuations. Oh, he does this. And I don't care if he chokes on Sunday. If he comes in the top 10, I'm going to be thrilled. By the way, he still won the guy has more leads in the last year after 54 holes than any player. He has more individual day wins than any other player. I don't really understand why there's not why he isn't the extreme. I mean, he'll have some ownership, but I haven't seen people write him up as the main play. The only guy I love what you said about I like Harmon, I like Answer, I like Connors, but I really like Joaquin Niemann too. I think that he belongs in the same category with those guys. And Sam Burns. So those are mostly the ones I'm focusing on. And I agree that Keegan Bradley has looked really good. I don't know how much of him I'm going to end up because there's a lot of guys in this range that I like, and I just don't see myself getting
this. Is like my Hall of Fame, all these guys. And then you'd say, well, how can you not play Harris English? Why am I not freaking playing the 1,000,000% Billy Horschel also? I mean, he's like 2%. There's so many great plays. Part of me wants to just play 6 of these guys and leave 5,000 on the table. just gotta see what happens.
Yeah, I hear you.
But yeah, this is. I mean, this range is totally loaded.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and even down to Grillo, like you mentioned, I think is a really strong play. I mean, it's going to be, again, I like Burns a lot because I think the upside is immense, and I always am going to be a sucker for him on long courses anyway. But Brian Harmon is an interesting one that I hadn't really thought about. I need to dig a little bit further into that one actually, because I actually do like him here, but it's not a natural what you would think of I don't know, what is he, a 5'6" or whatever guy like out of this course, but it's a long course. Yeah, I mean, this I like the 8 and the 7K range a lot better than I like the other ranges. So maybe I'll have a more balanced build this week. All right.
I got one more for you. All right, if you want. So this is you know what, the range is still, I don't know why I would screw around with this, but if you want to play like someone like someone's never heard of before, you could play Garrett Higo. He's a European. I think he's South African or something like that. He plays in the European Tour. There's two guys like that. One whose name I forget. Rick talked about it, who's probably a bad play. And the other one, this guy Garrett Higo, is probably a bad play. Problem is, I mean, there's so much good stuff in this range that I'll take it back. I'm not gonna give him out. You like anything under 7K?
I love Carlos Ortiz. I think this is a great course for him to have a chance to actually he's streaky, as we know, you know what I mean? But I like the upside. He's played well in competitive tournaments, but like a number of times before. He's been a little bit off lately, but he's had like those good. That's what he has. He has those great days, and then he's off the rest of the time. I think it's odd. I understand that this course and all this stuff, and he just won a tournament, but I think it's always odd for a guy who just won a tournament to be like less than probably 0.5% owned. You know?
Which one are you talking about?
KH Lee.
Oh yeah.
I mean, literally like 0.5%. I'm just saying,
he was the guy that we gave out to play under 7K to make the cut. And he won the tournament.
You nailed it, Cheats, on that one. I knew we should have stuck with you put your money where your mouth was. Unfortunately, James Hahn didn't make the birdie on 18 to get him to the weekend. Because you would have probably done something with that lineup. That thing probably would have won it. Thomas Peters, Charles Schwartzel. Those are the guys who I have down here. Am I missing anyone? Is there somebody who you have that I'm
They all stink. I mean, like my favorite. I mean, if I have to, we'll talk about when we go through a thing, is probably just because my numbers are giving it to me, is Thomas Peters, I guess.
What about Sebastian Munoz?
Yeah, Munoz. But again, like just to make that. That's the thing, like Ortiz and Munoz, guys like that, like I'm not expecting them, even if they have like great performances, to like do anything, to really make headway in the tournament. So like a guy like under 7K, I almost kind of would rather him just be a little safer, not safer, but more like a cut maker than a guy who's like in like a lower level tournament would try to win it. I don't know.
The only thing I would say about guys like Ortiz and Munoz and some of the other guys who sort of tend to go for it and are streaky, you get more eagles, you get more of the birdie streaks, you get those things, and right. There's guys, we see this all the time. The guy who finishes 8th has more fantasy points than the guy who finishes 3rd.
I'll tell you who I like. I'll play Ryan Palmer. Okay,
okay. I actually circled Ryan Palmer already, so I'm glad to hear you say that.
That'll be the selection. Will be Ryan.
Okay, that works for me. All right, well let's get the thing going. I'm trying to load up our old video because I can't stop before this one. So why don't you start off with who you like to win the tournament above? Well, I guess you can pick whoever you want. I guess it doesn't have to be above anything.
I am gonna pick someone under 10K to win the tournament. I'm gonna pick Xander Schauffele to win the tournament.
Okay, so now I've got to get Sheets.
No, I am gonna put my money where my mouth is. I'm gonna say Webb Simpson wins this tournament.
I love it. Yeah, you put you picked it. So yeah. All right, so you gave us 2, which is a bonus. I'm going to take in the. I'm just gonna do this, and this sucks. But except for he's not gonna be that. Okay, I'm just gonna say I had a guy. There's 2 guys. There's one guy I didn't mention who I wanted to say, and that's Morikawa. I should have mentioned him earlier, but because I do like him as well as another low-owned guy. But DJ, I'll take to win the tournament just because he's DJ.
Yeah, I'm gonna retract the bonus play because I'm gonna use Schauffele as my under 10K guy to make the top 10.
Oh, so we don't even get an extra. We don't get the bonus play.
No bonus. Sorry.
Rejected.
You guys want a bonus. Listen, we didn't talk about this. You guys didn't watch the baseball one, watching the PGA one. Are the True DFS, you can go there, and we're starting to upload projections now. So if you want to see who I like and you want other things, I mean, like for at least until we get our payment schedule set up, you're an official beta tester. You can go on there and access all the stuff that we're talking about. So if you don't, if you want more plays, you can just use my sheets and find the rankings yourself.
Yeah, and I have to say that, I mean, just you guys will, once you get to the familiarity with Sheets, I think that you're going to be it's a pretty cool, unique thing that he's got there. So, did I pick or is it your pick now?
Your pick, because you got to go under 10K to make the top 5.
Under 10K to make the top 5.
Yeah.
I'm going. This is not even my favorite guy, but the guy I mentioned the most. So I feel like I'm gonna say Hideki.
Under 9K to make the top 10.
Under 9K to make the top 10, I'm going Zalatoris.
I'd be more than happy if that happens. I am going to eschew the chalky Berger and go with Tyrrell Hatton.
Oh, okay.
Under 8K to go top 20.
Take
your pick. There can be 20 of them.
Yeah, these are the whole top 20 is in the 7 to 8K range. So because of all the guys you like, I'm going to say Joaquin Niemann.
Yep. I'll go just because I'm probably going to be underweight on him. And boy, how does Connors not make the top 20? That's going to be my question. So I'll just going to give you the free money. Connors is making the top 20.
I love it. All right, so we need under 6K to make the cut. I know who you're going to pick.
To make the cut. I'll just take Palmer.
That's who I would have taken to make the cut.
And then we'll give him Peters too, I guess.
Yeah, Peters. I'm going to say Ortiz, but it's more of a long.
There you go. Okay.
That's where I'm at. All right. Well, this is great, guys. Let's crush it this weekend. We want to see some screenshots. We want somebody to win. We want to see if somebody's sweating. We want to sweat with you. So post it in Discord, and pretty soon we'll have a place up on the site where we'll be able to put stuff like that up so we can sweat together. But good luck to everybody out there. For Sheets, I'm Bobby saying crush it this weekend. We'll see you at the top of the leaderboards.